So I'm not sure if you know this, but Dallas is full of mountain biking. Yes, this is the comprehensive guide to mountain biking in Dallas. And most people, when they talk to me and they ask, "Hey Becca, where on earth are you mountain biking?" I have a whole slew of trails to provide to them depending on where they are. So, depending on where you live, there's probably a trail within miles. And let me tell you something about these trails. If you are not a mountain biker, these are still trails that you can go and hike. You can bring your dog, but there's two things that you need to be very cautious about. If you have a dog, no matter how much you love them and how much they are under voice control, you need to keep them leashed because this trail is shared with mountain bikers, and mountain bikers do have the right of way. The reason why that matters is because if a mountain biker is taking a jump, if they're coming off a downhill, uphill, I'm not quite sure what you call it, they need that momentum. And if you or your dog are in the way, then that can be a very dangerous situation where you, your dog, or the mountain biker could get hurt. Now, the second thing is if you decide to hike these trails, you actually go in reverse of the direction of the mountain biker. Sometimes it's hard to figure out when you're entering a trail if you're entering in the right one. And so feel free to ask around. I find that mountain bikers are just the nicest community of people out there. And so you're going to have just a very helpful resource, and they're really going to appreciate that you care to ask. And so if mountain bikers are coming one direction, you would be walking towards them. So you would be able to see them and be able to move out of the way and step off the trail. Again, they need momentum, and you may not be aware where exactly they need that momentum. One of the biggest concerns being a mountain biker are the roots in the ground. And so just even the smallest root, sometimes you need just a little momentum to get off of up and over, not off of that root, but up and over the root, and then suddenly you're turning and doing lots of twists and turns. And so it's just best to stay out of their way, and then everyone can share the trail without any concerns. It's a win-win instead of that mountain biker coming up behind you. So just be aware. Try not to hike with earbuds in if you're sharing the trail with a mountain biker. Just being aware is really the best way to go. So here I am on this article. I go through some basics. I go through some tips, what you need to have. Some of those rules that I told you about, you'll be covering as well. So we have Arbor Hills Trail. I'm going to go through these really quick because I want you to go. I'm going to put the link right below. Big Cedar is awesome, you guys. The topography totally changes in South Dallas. Boulder Park, Irwin Park in McKinney. A lot of people love that park for so many reasons. Frisco Northwest Community Trail. Now, the city of Frisco actually sold off some of this trail to the PGA corporate offices. Tisk, tisk, Frisco. They just keep building. Goat Island Preserve, Harry Moss Park. That's a fun one. It's really short, super shaded, and great for beginners. Let's see. Horseshoe Trail. That's out by Lake Grapevine. And Katie Jackson Trail. LB Houston. LB Houston is a great trail for beginners. It's covered in trees, so it's really super shaded, so perfect for summer. And then a lot of flat trails. So that was one of the first trails that I did over and over when I was a beginner. North Shore Trail, that's over out by the lake again, out west. Oak Cliff Nature Preserve, a really cool trail. They've got all, I don't know exactly what you call them, but those the raised wood bridges that you can ride your bike around. If you're uncomfortable with some of these, you can either bypass those sections, or they have a little trail that will walk you around it. And there's River Legacy, that's out in Arlington. That's super popular park. RCP, also known as Rowlett Creek Preserve, and that's a really popular one for former President George W. Bush. Yes, he is a mountain biker, and a really good one. Sister Grove Park, this one isn't maintained so well, and it's way up in Princeton off 380. So, yeah. Mountain biking in Dallas, Squabble Creek. Squabble Creek is a really cool one. Again, this one's super shaded. But because there's so many trees and it's so shaded, it takes the longest time to dry out. So what you do is you go over to dorba.org. Dorba is the Dallas Off-Road Bicycle Association. They will tell you, and I put that link in this article, if a trail is open or if it's closed. So if it's rained on a Friday and you want to go biking on Saturday, most likely your trail is closed. Now, depending on where that rain is hit, sometimes the rain hits really hard in McKinney, but maybe not so much in Oak Cliff, then certain trails will be open, certain trails will be closed. We do not ride trails when they are wet and muddy because that destroys the trail. So you go to Dorba and they have some great volunteers who maintain the trails, and they sometimes even have email addresses there. You can contact them, but it's going to tell you open or closed, and I would adhere to that. If you don't know, you can check again in the morning before you're about to go. Otherwise, stick to the paved trails, and DFW has a ton of paved trails. Almost there's, I would say, paved trails in almost all of these parks, or at least half of them. So that would be a good option. Anyway, it's all in there where to get your bike tuned up, what you need to know, everything you need to know about mountain biking, and I hope you guys enjoy this article.